are counting down. Everybody very excited to get to Las Vegas for the 21st running of the Superkarts USA SuperNationals. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Howden alongside David Cole, a special edition of the Debrief podcast, SuperNationals 21. We're not going to talk about what happened in the last week. We're not going to talk about stuff, top news. We're not going to give you a calendar. This is just David and I kind of chatting about what will be the biggest race of North America in 2018, if not the biggest race around the world. Over 500 drivers. I know over 500 on the pre-entry list. David and I have got the entry list here. He's, of course, been working away at the class previews. He's been publishing them, and they're going to continue to come. David Cole, massive numbers. Big ones, of course, in X30 Senior. Impressive numbers in the S2 category and Junior and Mini. Simply put, we're just days away from getting things underway in Las Vegas with our EKN Trackside Live coverage. This is going to be a big one. Number 21 is going to be pretty solid.
Hey, it's able to drink now, right? 21 years old.
I like that. So, hey, SuperNationals, take it easy. It's your first time at 21 in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Be smart.
Yeah.
Right?
Make sure you're taking cabs. Don't do any crazy walking down the strip. They have, yeah.
True,
So,
true.
Start slowly. A couple drinks here and there. Don't do shot. I mean, come on now. Be a pro.
That's right. And listen, send us an email, and we'll tell you a couple of the people to stay away from within the industry. I'm not going to say any names. Don't say any names, David, but they know who they are, and those are the people to stay away from because we've had our time with them ourselves.
No Goldschlager. No vodka Red Bulls. No Jaeger bombs.
No
Rumpel Mitts either. Rumpel Mitts, that'll kill you.
No Rumpel Mitts at all. No, you're right. All right, this is going to be a big weekend, or a big week essentially, right? Everybody kind of rolls in Saturday or Sunday. Pro Tour banquet on Wednesday night. I'm emceeing that. That's going to be a good time to be able to really, celebrate the championship performances of some great drivers on the entire Pro Tour. But the thing about the SuperNats, and again, David, first year in a number of years where it's not part of the Pro Tour. Standalone event. All bets are off. Drivers out there aren't worrying about, getting the points they need to win a Pro Tour. It's all about just going for the gold on Super Sunday.
Well, the banquet's going to be different for me and for a lot of people who haven't been in the sport as long as you, or at least with SKUSA for this long, because it is an event where we can just go and kind of relax. And, it's not a rush Sunday night deal that we've done every year for the Pro Tour since it began in 2010. I mean, you've seen the behind-the-scenes stuff from 2010 to now. It's just it's chaos Sunday night, and then it all unloads when we go up to when we used to go up to the tower at Rio. But now with it being that Wednesday night, we'll be able to get done on track, come back over to the Westgate, do a little cleanup, get dressed, looking good, and then honor the people who have done well in the 2017 season.
I'm looking forward to it. Dave, obviously the kind of focus here, you're working your butt off on previews that are, of course, coming out on ekartingnews.com to fill everybody in on the categories. Some great names, awesome names coming into play. Some names we haven't seen in a while coming back. Some race car drivers coming back to have some fun at the SuperNats. Drivers, of course, moving up as well from Mini to Junior. There's a number of drivers that are making the move at the SuperNats, like we see a lot. Let's start with Micro, Dave. The Micro Swift category, 36 drivers set to go in Micro. I'm pretty excited. There's some names. Last year's winners is back. Vinicius Tesoro. The guys that we expect to be quick. Brandon Carr, Elliot Cox, Caleb Gaffera, Frankie Idavea, Christian Miles. What a field of 36 drivers.
Yeah, this feels going to be a lot different from what we saw last year. Last year being the inaugural year that we had the micro category. So a lot of those drivers being at the SuperNats, probably all of them for the first time at the SuperNats. So it was a little bit of a growing pain type deal through the event. And then also when in the main event, when the rain came, I mean, the first turn,
no doubt,
the first turn for that class was utter chaos when they hit the turn because they couldn't turn. It was completely wet.
It was spinning, and
you get these kids soaking wet, and they're maybe 50 pounds. So how are you going to steer a 250-pound cart into the turn? So
good point. Very good point.
So yeah, but a lot of these kids now have 2 years of experience behind them, going into Vegas now. So it's going to be a lot more competitive, I think, this year than what we saw a year before.
It's funny, I've had a chance to go to some different events throughout the year. I was at the Texas Pro Kart Challenge Series. I was up at Can-Am as well. And you look at some of the regional, the young regional guys that you expect to be quick. I got a chance to watch some of these drivers run regionally as well. There's a lot of really good drivers that are going to be into this this particular SuperNats, Dave. And I think it's always tough for us, because especially the younger categories. When we try to pick maybe a top 5, you never know which driver is going to get to a temporary circuit parking lot race like Vegas and be extra comfortable. A lot of these kids have never had a chance to run on a temporary circuit with the walls, and the barriers all over the place. Some of them just pick it up and really, really run with it. You're never really sure who's going to kind of come to the forefront.
Yeah, but I still think the guys that have the more experience are going to be the more comfortable ones. Yeah. Especially at this age. I mean, maybe Mini might be a little different, but these kids are the youngest ones next to kid karts. So it's, some of them have just been 1 year out of kid karting. So the Vegas venue is something new for a lot of these kids. So that's where I think those who have been in this category for over, more than a year are probably going to shine, like your Sebastian NG, your Gaffar, your Elliott Cox, your Brandon Carr. I mean, Parker DeLong, that's one driver that we saw at the Lancaster Grand Prix come out and just come through with a win. So he might be one to watch that we've seen on the West Coast that steps up in Vegas.
I agree. And isn't that event one we always look at, right? That Streets of Lancaster Grand Prix, just 6 weeks away, ahead of the SuperNats, and you never know who's going to turn it up, because they've been there, been comfortable there, long straightaway, 650 feet at that race for those drivers, and they come to SuperNats. You're right, Parker DeLong could be a guy that maybe is able to step up and get the job done. We're not sure. We'll see what happens when they roll out there, but again, Carr, Cox, Gaffera, Vinicius Tessaro, Mateo Rubio Luengo, I think, as well. You're missing drivers when you're just kind of scrolling down here. But, man, just such an opportunity for some kids to step up. I'm excited about Micro.
Should be fun.
How about Mini? 36 drivers in Micro, 69 drivers in Mini Swift. It's hard for us to even start throwing names out because there's so many good ones. But I think Mini Swift is going to be good. What are your thoughts?
Well, this field is stacked. I mean, we have, just not to mention, 3 world title winners. We have Diego LaRocque, last year's Micro Max world champion or world title winner. We have Brent Cruz, who just won at the IME International Final. And we have Connor Zillage, who won at the Rock Cup International Final. So we have those 3 drivers in this field, not to mention Carson Morgan, our Pro Tour champion. I mean that alone, like, that could be your podium right there. Add in some wild card, and that's your podium.
I know. Isn't that nuts? I love it. It's when you see these kids, like you mentioned, David, the World Championships. These kids have already been put into the pressure cooker of running on the world level, and those are World Championship events. Obviously, SKUSA is this SuperNats is this amazing event, and there's so much pressure on that race as well. You got to believe that the success that they were able to show, and not even just those that had success, but those that went over there to the IME race and the Rock Cup race and were put in that kind of pressure situation, that's really, I think, going to pay off when they try to find their way to the podium.
Without a doubt. Sunday. I mean, as I was telling somebody at a race a couple weeks ago, our how should I say this? Our embrace of the cadet categories has helped us on the world stage, as we just showed with those 3 drivers. Not to mention Logan Sargent was another driver that came up through the cadet ranks here and was successful in Europe. But a number of the drivers that we have in that 12 and under age range, it's phenomenal. And I don't want to say that's where a lot of teams focus, but that's where a lot of these kids are learning the racecraft and learning how to be fast, where other places in the world didn't quite incorporate cadet racing as much as we did.
yeah, it didn't put it so much on a pedestal or so much put the focus on it to make sure that these young drivers were really starting to develop as they have. And I think you're right. I think the level of development out of the drivers we've seen coming through micro then into mini, and that's kind of starting to play it out in the junior ranks as well, where we're getting really strong junior drivers. But David laid out some names for you in the mini category. It's going to be crazy to watch. 69 of them, and of course only 44 plus the guaranteed Super Sunday starting positions will find themselves in the main event. There will be a last chance qualifier in mini, and I think we all know what last chance qualifiers are like. We're moving up the order in terms of numbers. We got micro at 36. David, we've got mini Swift at 69. How about 79 drivers on our pre-entry list? Now, we're not talking about walk-ups either. We're not talking about guys that have come in later, because we just found out about a junior that we didn't know was going to be there, but actually is going to show up right now. But David, 79, so 80 drivers going to be in junior X30 right now. This, again, such a high level of competition, and you and I just found out that Dylan Tavella is actually coming back as well for junior.
Well, Tavella, being the new SKUSA Pro Tour champion, definitely has to be coming into the event now that we know he's going to be there as one of the favorites. The kid was always a contender in cadet, never quite was able to get a championship or a victory at Vegas. But now he's coming into his last karting event, as he says, even though he already said he was done. But we've seen other people retire and non-retire and stuff like that. Not to throw anybody under the bus, Kyle Kalish. But but Tavella definitely will be one of the favorites, and you can't look past last year's winner, Tyler Gonzalez. I mean, the kid has been phenomenal all season long. Didn't quite have enough at the SKUSA Pro Tour to win there, but he's won the Florida Winter Tour title. He's won at the U.S. Rotex Grand Nationals. He's done well in Europe, racing over there. I mean, this would be the first time anybody's ever repeated as a tag junior winner at the SuperNationals. So I have to say that Tavella and Gonzalez come in with even odds, like it's 50-50 between them two. I would almost take one of them two over the field. I think those two are so good.
Well, okay. That's bold. I like that. Now, let's look at some of the field then. So if we go back and look at the field, let's look at a Trey Brown, who has been very good all year long. Oliver Calvo continues to step up. You got Jack Crawford coming back, national number 2. How long are we going to see Jack remain in karting? He's been doing some legend racing as well. But yeah, you throw Jack Crawford in there. Continue down, you get Jagger Jones coming back. Jagger's gone on to do a bunch of stock car racing recently. Jagger's coming back as well. Here's a kid that's got a lot of maturity. Max Kowalski for Franklin Motorsports on the Merlin. You got to expect that Kowalski could be pretty quick here as well. David, when you pick those two guys against the field, there's some pretty strong guys in junior X30.
I'll back it up come Super Sunday. I have confidence in those two. But another name to throw out there is Zane Maloney. The Barbados driver has been racing in Europe all season long. His first year in the junior category, and he finished 5th at the World Championships in OK Junior. So this kid coming back to the United States to race at the SuperNats, I mean, that's obviously one name that you can watch. I mean, we've seen that happen with Logan Sargent being successful there and coming over here to Vegas and winning there. So that might be one of the drivers in the field that might upset my prediction.
What about a couple drivers that are jumping up out of the Mini Swift class into X30 Junior here this weekend? One of them, of course, being Reese Gold, the other being Luca Mars. Now, Luca's he's dipped his toe in X30 Junior a little bit, but there's a couple of drivers with some pretty good pedigree. That said, Mars has done a little bit of it. I'm not sure if Reese has been able to get any racing in X30 Junior, but wow, that's a big. I don't want to say it's a big step. It's a natural step up into junior. But you got a couple of kids here at the very forefront, as you said. When you talk about like Tyler Gonzalez and Dylan Tavella, they've got that experience in X30 Junior. They will be tough to beat. But we got a couple of mini graduates, I think, that could impress.
Well, it depends on what happens. I mean, we've seen it both ways. We've seen them graduate up and fail, and we've seen them graduate and do well. I mean, this year was a perfect example. Last year's mini winner at SuperNats, Thomas. How do you say his name? Damn it,
Thomas Naveau.
I forgot the P is silent.
Don't worry about the P. He's from Quebec.
Thomas I know Naveau. It's that Quebec talk. I can't do it.
I know it's all right.
But
I'm Canadian. That's why I'm here.
I mean, Thomas came through and it was kind of a surprise win at the SuperNats, but he did a very well. He had a very strong cadet career, but he struggled all season long in junior. But you got another kid like Tyler Maxson, who was the Mini Swift Pro Tour champion last year, and he's steadily gotten better. And we've seen him already win in WK competition and podium at the Summer Nationals. So Gold and Mars, Mars is already proven to be quick on the junior kart. So we'll see if Gold is either a failure or a success.
Yeah, and you're right. It's that you mentioned the kart too. It's that transition into the junior kart, which I think is interesting. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to watch those different groups of drivers we know it's that their turn to kind of step to the forefront and win. You get a kid like Tavella and Jones and some of these guys who have already really moved on and are dipping their toes in cars. What's it going to be like when they come back? Tavella not so much coming back. He's getting ready to go to F4. They've done some testing, and then you got that other group of young drivers who are either ready to come to the forefront once these juniors leave, the top junior, the older juniors leave, and then you got the guys that are just coming in from Mini. I love the fact that you have those kind of different tiers of drivers in terms of experience. And I think when you come to the Supernats, that really kind of throws everything out of whack. And I love watching how each one of them slot into it, especially once we get into qualifying on Thursday. We're going to see where those drivers of the 79 or 80 we have at this point, where they're going to slot in. That's always exciting to see. Now, if we stick again with our progression up age-wise in the IAME categories, let's go to even more drivers. 80 and X30 Junior. David, on the entry list right now, I know they say they cap it at 88, but they normally go a little higher because sometimes there's always maybe 10% cancellations near the end. They've got 96 drivers, I believe, registered for X30 Senior. Again, same kind of thing. We've got some great drivers coming in internationally. We've got some absolutely stellar drivers here domestically in North America. We've got some guys that we haven't seen in a while coming back to play, like Neil Alberico, who's a former driver in the Stars of Karting, but now is an Indy Lights driver. Winner in the USF 2000 series, winner in Pro Mazda. I love seeing Neil come back, but man, David, as we were going, I was prepping for this podcast, just checking off, besides some names, like, this is ridiculous how many good drivers we have in X30 Senior.
Well, it's the class to be in. I mean, it's what you want to be in. You want to go from junior to senior. And you mentioned the guys coming back. This is the class. They don't want to be in KZ. They want to be in this class. They want to prove that they still have the skills and the swagger to come race these kids. We're talking Jake Craig, Brandon Jarzakrak, Ryan Norberg. I mean, you got to start with those three domestically as the top three drivers. I mean, and they're top three in our rankings, top three at the SKUSA Pro Tour. Craig coming back as a defending winner. I mean, last year was a great emotional win for him. But now he wants to duplicate that. I mean, once you win it, you want to win it again. You don't want to stop. And, he wants...
Back-to-back jacks, baby.
He wants to go back in and win it. And because, he's another driver that's looking to do what Neil Alberico is already doing, moving up the Mazda Road to Indy ladder. Yeah. So this could be maybe his last Supernats for a while before we see him back. You have another name coming back, Christian Brooks. I mean...
I knew that's where you were going.
I mean, this kid... he's the real deal in karting, and now he's proven it in the Red Bull Global Rallycross. I mean, a vice championship in the lights program. He's going to come back, get in the car, and it's going to be like it was nothing. I mean, he's already shown it at the LAKC race that they just had last month. Came back and waxed the field there. So you can keep going down the list of drivers who are in contention. I mean, Braden Eves won twice this year. I mean, this kid went over and finished top 10 at the Rock Cup International Final. Now he's got the support from the Viami factory program. I mean, the sky's the limit for this kid.
How about some of the other guys that we're just regularly seeing up front in the X30 senior categories, like an Alex Bertignoli, like a Zach Holden, now gone to do a little bit of car racing, but Brandon Lemke. Like David Maluka's coming back. David, did a year in USF 2000 last year. Ryan McDermott, Kellen Ritter. Like, you just go through these names of guys that are going to be strong. AJ Myers, here's a Pro Tour winner as well on the TB Kart USA entry. This is Dante Yu. Again, of course, what I'm working on here is alphabetical. So as I get down to the bottom, here's Dante coming off an amazing run at the Streets of Lancaster Grand Prix, wins there, which again we always know is a good precursor to Supernats. Goes over to Europe and does so well over there as well. Man, Dante could be ready to break out. This could be big.
Yeah, he was obviously one of the top junior rookie or senior rookies this year, along with Alex Bertignolli. Yeah. So those two are fighting to finish out the year as the top rookie, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Bertignolli loves Supernats. His first year, he was on the podium in junior. Last year, returned to the podium to win the junior title. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Bertignolli and you definitely contending for a podium finish.
You look at some of the veterans that we're going to have back again, former winners like Andre Nicastro. Obviously he's going to come back and try to do it again, and he's always incredibly quick. A non-winner yet, is he maybe the favorite for a lot of people to finally break that goose egg? David Serra. What do you think with David?
He was so close last year, but you could tell the cart just kind of went away from him. Yeah. The year before that, same type of deal where the cart just kind of went a couple mistakes here and there. You don't want to say it's age, because this guy definitely has the skills to win.
Yeah, no doubt.
So and it's not about, I don't know if it's desire that's kind of limiting him, but he comes in wanting to win this race every year. And it's been that way, I think, for a decade now. And so, even the race with him and Nicastro, that was one of the craziest finishes I think we ever saw.
And you know what? One of the things I love about karting, we talk about it all the time. It doesn't know if the driver's a man or a woman, if the driver's 15 or 55. So I don't really think age plays into it. Again, it's just, when it comes down to the SuperNationals, you have to have all your stuff together. And if you've just missed a little bit, if the engine's off a little bit, if you missed the jetting a little bit, if you just missed the setup a little bit, that's really all it takes. We've seen David Serra be so close so many times, but then sometimes he's maybe back in 6th or 7th or has trouble. The car goes away early. You and I have talked about that, how he's been in different places just depending on what you hit. And the level of competition is so high that I don't think you can make that mistake. And I think that's really what it comes down to. David, it's just, you have to be on your game. And for a guy like Craig to win last year, you go through any of the list of guys that have found ultimate success at the SuperNationals, it really was all about them being absolutely perfect, putting themselves in the right place to be able to go win that race. Because you have to get yourself in that lead group, as we always see it kind of stretch away the last couple of laps.
Well, I think now with the X30 engine, you have to at least be in position, like you said. Because before, we've seen drivers where they were able to walk away, and it was more engine performance than anything, really. Maybe a whole combination of the whole package, but obviously the engine being perfect helped them pull away.
Dave, how many times did we talk about the fact that because you're talking obviously back in the tag days when we had the different engines, right? Whether it was the Rotax or you're on the Leopard or you're on the Rock or on the Moturi, whatever it was on. Anytime, as soon as the track layout came out, everybody would say, "Oh, it's a Rotax track. Oh, that's a Rock track." And that was that thing. Maybe you weren't a Rock driver. Maybe the track didn't suit you. Maybe that kind of played that way. We don't have that anymore. The X30 senior category, having the IAME, levels that playing field and gets rid of that dynamic, which I like.
Exactly. That's what I was getting into. And for Craig, it wasn't so much a great event leading up to the main event. It was just that he put himself in position on Super Sunday. And that's really what yes, your event can be ruined Thursday by your qualifying, but as long as you stay out of trouble, especially in this field with more than 88 drivers now, stay out of trouble, drive smart, not make any bonehead mistakes, and you can put yourself in position on Super Sunday. It doesn't have to be one in the first corner, first lap.
If we just throw a couple of names out again, as I'm going through here, a couple of guys coming in from Great Britain. We got Ben Barnicoat for Fullerton, USA. We're going to see the debut of the new Kart Republic team with Danny Carroll. Other drivers, you look at PKC, California PKC champion Nikki Hayes will be there with Phil Giebler Racing. Austin Garrison on the comp kart for J3 competition. He was really good at the Streets of Lancaster Grand Prix. Michael D'Orlando for J3, or rather Nicholas D'Orlando for J3 as well coming into play. I'll tell you, this is going to be big in X30 Senior. All bets are off right now. I have no idea who's going to win this thing. I'm just excited to see them get rolling because there's just so many strong drivers here. That front half and qualify, you hit it bang on. You have got to qualify well on Thursday if you have any chance.
Yeah, I'm not going to make any predictions in this class. It's kind of like It's kind of
We're
like
not
the
getting ourselves in
election
trouble on
process.
that.
Too close to call.
Yeah, let's move to X30 Masters. This is a category that really has, I think, continued to grow, and I think it says a lot for Superkarts USA and how they really have been one of the organizations out there. There's not many that put a lot of focus on the Masters categories. You don't see that, of course, in WKA. You don't see it so much in USPKS or whatever it may be, but they really have a good Masters program with both the shifters and the X30 categories. Dave, this was a category that was always the first. It was 44 when it was one race group. X30 Masters sold out in a day, in 5 or 6, 7, 8 hours. Boom, people were on it. They finally decided to open it up. They tucked S2 down to 44 because it really was not really that much over 44 every time. 68 drivers in X30 Masters. Dave, this category is flirting on getting up to that, that 80, 88 deal where you're packing up two groups. I love seeing it. You and I are both Masters age drivers. I love seeing it because I think these are the guys that are in karting because they want to be in karting. It's not like the young kids where they run juniors until they can clamor their way into a race car because they want to be the next IndyCar driver or Formula One driver. These are guys that race go-karts because they love racing karts. And I think that's what I love about the Masters classes. And you look at this year, again, we've got all the top guys coming back. You've got past winners like Kip Foster and Leonardo Nienkotter. And we've got some guys moving up. There's a couple names when you scroll down here that I was waiting to get to X30 Masters because I think they're going to be good. A guy like a Matt Johnson. This is going to be a fun year to watch, I think.
Well, just to start off, the top 8 from last year's final are in this field again. And that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, nobody ever graduates. No. Nobody graduates out of X30 Master.
All we see is more challengers come in, and that's why the field keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And like you said, these are guys who just want to race. They don't, they just want to go out there, race karts, go home, have fun. But it's very competitive now. I mean, before it was more of a gentleman's class. Now it's very competitive, and like you said, we have some young drivers coming in now, graduating, like a Jess Peterson, who's coming in and be like, "Hey, I'm here to wax y'all. I'm ready to take this from all you old guys and win it." Because this is a guy who's, I mean, think about it. Jess Peterson's been racing before Stars of Karting was even started. Like, he's been on the national scene for a long time. So he's like, this is my time to shine.
Let's throw Travis Irving in there as well. Travis was the top junior and S2 driver on the Superkarts USA Pro Moto Tour in 99, 2000, 2001. So Travis has been around forever. He's come back, found the love for it again. And man, was he ever strong throughout this season. Travis, a national number plate holder for this year. I think he's going to be really good as well. But you're right. You got some young studs that are coming into this category now that are really going to, I think they're going to challenge some of these veteran drivers who are used to winning, like a guy like Kip Foster. But again, I don't care how old Foster is. He's still easily one of the best Masters drivers in the world right now.
Well, him, Derek Wang, Leonardo Nienkotter, Renato David, who won last year, Eduardo Dieter, who was the provisional winner until a penalty dropped him out. I mean, these guys, they've raced against each other now for probably the last 5 to 6 years in this class, if not around the world at Rotax and Miami and all these other events that go on. So these guys, they like racing against each other, but they love beating each other more, I think.
Yeah. Other guys that have shown well, of course, this year, Laurent Dumardin, double winner. In fact, our driver of the month at eKarting News, double winner at the Summer Nationals at Newcastle. Vache Tatikin can always be quick. The Crow Show, John Crow, always in the hunt for sure. Darren Marcus coming out, finally going to run in the Masters category. Darren's been running S2 in the shifter kart category. Another guy that was a race winner on the Pro Moto Tour, I think it was 2001 or 2002. He won at Jacksonville in the S1 class. You got just some guys here. We can just keep reiterating guys like an Eric Jackson as I scroll down through the names. Just there's so many guys that just have been around for so long that if they hit their marks, they're going to be in a fight for the podium, fight for the top 10.
Yeah, Donald Dermott. He's another one coming in to race. I mean, we've seen him win 2 championships at the Challenging Americas. So him coming into this mix, like that could throw things around. He could be one of those guys who hasn't been in the mix before to come through and be in the shot for a podium. So I would put my money on a lot of those guys that have been here before, but you put in Durbin and Peterson and Irving. I think those are probably the three leaders coming in to mix up, get some of these older guys out of there to try and fight for the win.
Let's give some props to the only Indianapolis 500 starter who will be in the SuperNationals this year, and that's Pippa Mann. Pippa's going to run with Top Kart USA in the number 58 machine, so good to see Pippa coming out to run with us. She has a storied karting career. I'm thrilled to have her coming out to run X30 Masters at the event. I think it'll be fun to have her there. All right, DC, Miami, done. Let's roll into stock Honda. Let's start with the stocker classes. S4 Supermaster. Let's go there first because, we got some great drivers in the S4 Supermasters class. And to be honest, we always talk about how the S4 class is kind of transitioning. S4, the pro drivers are getting even more pro because all these guys that were 26, 27, 28 a couple of years ago are now into their past 30 and they're going to run S4. We kind of saw a shrinking of that a little bit on the pro tour because there's just so many really good guys at the very pointy end of that grid. S4 Supermaster, 45 years of age and older. And there's a couple of badasses that are making their S4 debut, first and foremost being Bonner Moulton. I think Bonner's going to shake things up. He's a 3-time winner at the SuperNationals, going for number 4. He's run every SuperNationals. This will be number 21 for Bonner. I think putting him into the storyline here for Supermasters really changes everything.
Well, it definitely does because we've seen Robert Marks dominate this category the last 2 years. Winning the Pro Tour both years and winning last year's SuperNationals. So Marks has been the leader, and I think Bonner's going to come in and steal it. I mean, he really, obviously, he still has the capability of running S1, and that's the type of talent that Bonner really is. He's not much of a rider, but he's a great racer.
Listen, easily, obviously a storied name when it comes to Superkarts USA competitions, running every SuperNationals. When I first started with the organization, calling their races back in 97, 98, and 99, he was on the very first podium at the SuperNationals. So he's been around forever. He's just an absolute talent, and he's definitely going to be the guy to beat. But we've seen Robert Marks challenged before. He takes a lot of pride running S4 at some of the regional races, going head-to-head with guys like Rob Logan. And I think that keeps him sharp. And I think that obviously Marks is going to be in the fight. You got Nick Firestone coming to play. Rod Clenard has been good all year long. John Crow's going to run again. Mike Jones, definitely not out of the picture whatsoever. National number 2, of course, Marks national number 1. Mike Jones is going to be a guy, if he's on his game, I think that'll be able to go. You get a guy like Mike Jones, animal-style Mike Jones, I think he's got a chance to win this thing.
Well, as long as he has enough double-doubles, he should be in the hunt. But
true.
No, he's
true,
been
true. He's hot as chopped chilies.
Without a doubt, with a little iced tea on the side.
No doubt. I think he's got a chance. Hey, and the DKC team's been good. You cannot deny how good the Dallas Karting Complex Sodi Kart team has been this year. They have, with Jake French, with Riley Dickinson, they have been ridiculously good. So I like Jones in the mix as well, no doubt about that.
But Jones has had success at the SuperNationals before, so it'll be good to see him in this category making his debut at the SuperNationals in this category because we've seen him challenge Marks all season long. So I think the atmosphere of Vegas will probably amp him up a little bit more because he was kind of more relaxed throughout the year, which was good because normally Mike Jones is a little wound up. When you eat,
don't kick it. Whatever you do, don't touch his helmet.
Yeah, don't touch his helmet. So
don't touch his helmet.
So, but I
digress.
I really think I had Crow as a favorite last year because I thought Crow was going to come in and steal the show. But so you got Marks, Firestone, Crow, Bonner, and Mike Jones. I mean that's probably your fight for the victory and the podium spots.
I don't disagree with you at all. Let's move to S4, 30 years of age and older, the Master Stock Honda category, 24 drivers in the field, and again I'll just throw some names out, David. We can discuss Jean Cavacuti, former Pro Tour champion, race winner. Renato David, we know what he can do. Chris Jennings, top driver, former winner at the SuperNationals. Ryan Kinnear, last year's national number 1, national number 2 this year. Rob Logan coming off a huge win at the Streets of Lancaster Grand Prix. Mike Mantell, always incredibly quick. Former S4 champion Jimmy McNeil. Jordan Musser, your national number 1 plate holder. Alan Michelle, a Pro Tour winner. Ben Schermerhorn, national number 3, has turned up the ranks. And the new guy coming into S4, Ronnie White in the number 71. It's 24 guys. It's not a full field, but it is a group of badasses. And I just gave you, 10 names? And any one of those guys could win this race.
Well, I mean, the last one, Ron White. I mean, who thought we would see Ron White in S4? I never thought we would see this happen, to be honest.
Yeah, he kept hammering, and you know what? He continues to run S1, but he's age eligible to run S4. Why not make the transition, get into it? I think he's going to run S1 as well. I think he wants to run both categories, and he can, which is great. So, but he's definitely ready to, let's move to S4 and have some fun. Go wheel-to-wheel racing for the lead. He's a top 10 driver in S1. Battle it out with the boys here. Get at it with Kinnear and Musser and Cavacuti. This is going to be a blast to watch Ronnie White in there, going at it, elbows up, a tornado.
Well, you got to believe that the guys in S4 though aren't going to let him have an easy pass. I mean, Musser, Kinnear, Renato David. I mean, those guys are good, and even Cavacuti. I mean, those guys raced back in the day against each other in Super Pro back at Sam Boyd Stadium. I remember that. Those guys are not going to let him just come in and kind of wax it. I mean, it's going to have to be earned. I mean, it's going to be exciting to see how it unfolds, but it'll definitely not be something easily that Ron can just come in and take care of business.
Hey, throw in a couple other names too here from the Southern Hemisphere. You've got Jason Fate, who ran at the Rio a number of years ago. He's actually with the Dallas Karting Complex guys. The Australian driver Jason Fate's going to be there as well. And Tiffany Chittenden from New Zealand, who will be with Illuminos, has been strong. Of course, Tiffany, the fiance of badass Matt Hamilton. I like Chittenden to be in the fight too. She showed really well at the Streets of Lancaster. I think she'll be a top 10 runner as well. It's this whole field, 24 of them, not massive, but absolutely filled with talent. I'm jacked about the S4 class. Again, I've said about every category. It's a Supernats. Of course, I'm jacked. It's Christmas for us, but it's going to be a blast. Let's move to S2, Dave. Full field, 45 pre-entries that we're working off of right now for your previews, and of course our special edition of this EKN Debrief. Again, Rob Howden alongside David Cole. Thanking you for joining us. Great stuff here right now in the S2 category. Dave, looking down the list, is there anybody who are you looking at and saying, other than Riley Dickinson, I can't say he's just been absolutely dominant all year long, who do you think would you put in the handful that could battle Riley for the race win?
Well, I think you have to start intent. Sky Finley has been in the S2 category for a while now. He's got the experience, and it's the same package. I mean, those two are pretty identical when you see them out on the racetrack. So I think Finley definitely has an opportunity there to not only be on the podium, but to fight for a victory. There's a lot of fast guys in there. Rory Vanderster. I mean, we've always seen him being fast. He's just got to complete the job and get through all the mechanical issues that he's had before to be able to battle.
How do you like double duty for Jordan Musser running S2 and S4? I think he's going to be, obviously that double track time allows you to keep dialing things in. I think Jordan could easily be in the fight for a race win.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Musser's proven it at the regional level to be able to race with Dickinson and even Jake French, as you saw down at the Texas Pro Kart Challenge. So, yeah, for sure, Musser. I mean, like you said, he's another Masters guy who definitely has the capability of running an S1. So this year he's running an S2, though. So that'll be interesting to see. Another fast guy that we've seen, Colin Daly, the Jamaican, running with DRT Racing. Yep. He's been fast. He won at the Winter Nationals. I mean, he blew away from Dickinson and everybody else in the field. So, if he's got everything working together working right, he's another driver that has the ability to walk away from this field, even though it's a very competitive field.
Dave, coming into the Supernats, I always think the momentum's, it's nice to have momentum coming in. I think that's one of the reasons why the Streets of Lancaster has been so important, or some of these October races have been strong. I think a couple drivers coming in with good momentum. Cole Bailey coming off a major win in the S2 category in the Streets of Lancaster. He's running with Greg Bell and Leading Edge Motorsports on the Praga. Got Gary Carlton helping him out on the wrenches and working on the mental game as well. And I think Cole is going to be good. He's been doing some testing. Another driver with some momentum coming in. I was down at the Texas Pro Kart Challenge race, and Blair Hosey on the Alpha Kart for Alpha Kart USA and Dams. He was impressive. Able to get hole shots on both Dickinson and Jake French at the start. He led both of those drivers for a number of times in the heat races. Eventually finished on the podium and then in the top 5. Wasn't able to quite hang. But I liked what I saw out of Blair Hosey. And I think if he has that momentum and has some confidence coming in, he'll be a driver we can watch as well. Some other young drivers coming up who've had success throughout the year. Zach Pedinici looked pretty good. Like I said, you had already mentioned Rory Vanderster, who we know could be incredibly quick as well. Keon Tandon was an S3 driver in the Pro Kart Challenge this year. His dad, Vivek Tandon, of course, a veteran driver. Keon almost won the championship battling with Zach Pedinici. They're jumping up a weight class to S2 for Supernats. It's a big jump, but I think both of those drivers could be pretty good as well. And a couple other names I would throw out, Nathan Ads has a chance to be good if he really gets on his game. He really jumps in there. And another guy I think he's maybe a kind of a dark horse, running with with VME and the new VME Kart USA program. Vince Mandarino is going to be here as well. It's his chassis, the VME. Cameron Egger on the VME. I bet you he is going to be strong as well, I think, when we go racing on Super Sunday.
Yeah, a lot of names, and it all boils down to how they adapt to the racetrack right away Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
I mean that has a lot to do with how well they're going to end up on Super Sunday. I mean, because a lot of these guys, they're fast in certain places, but they're not fast when they go to another place. So if some of these drivers can adapt to what the race course is, which none of us have driven before, none of us have seen it before because it hasn't been laid out yet. So it'll be interesting to see who adapts well and who doesn't. I mean, I think right away we're going to know who the players are come by the end of Wednesday's practice.
Just throwing out a couple more names as we cap off S2. Harry Gottsacker for Champion Racing's been a top 10 guy. Jason Pettit for Luminos has really turned it up. Garrett McKelvey's been good as well for the Musgrave Racing Company crew. There are some guys in this field who we definitely want to watch out for. Folks, when we get back after this break, David and I are going to talk a bit about the actual circuit itself. As David mentioned, it is a brand new circuit, beautiful. We've seen some pictures of the parking lot that people have been kind of hanging out in just to get the feel for Supernats. When we get back, we'll start talking about that, and then we'll look at S1.
You've probably heard about the explosive new force in cadet karting, Nitro Kart. Nitro Kart drivers have scored many wins at major events around the country. We attend all major National Series events and offer arrive and drives with everything you need to run up front and win. Nitro Kart currently has a few prime spots left for SKUSA Supernats in Las Vegas. We're also looking for some quality dealers around the country and the world. Let's see what experts have to say about Nitro Kart.
Hi, this is Miles Murray, factory Nitro Kart driver number 18 in Microswell. Plain and simple, Nitro Kart is the best and fastest kart I've ever had. Nick Tucker is the best karting team owner in the cadet class. He helped me get my first national podium this year. He can help you too. Get a Nitro Kart before they get you.
Nitro Kart! Race one or chase one!
David, you mentioned the fact that we got a new racetrack, and that's one of the things I think I love about the Supernats. Every year, it's a brand new track. Now, in the past, they kind of kept the track the same for a couple of years, maybe if it was something that was good. They did that at the Rio. Since Bonner Moulton and Howie Idelson took over last year, a brand new racetrack, they added Wesley Boswell into the design team this year. We got a brand new parking lot, glass smooth. That'll be something new. Not having the huge whoop-de-doos coming into some of the braking zones, and a brand new track as well. That level playing field is what really blows things wide open when it comes to the SuperNationals and picking who could be fast, because you never know, as you said, the line you used, who picks up the circuit the quickest.
Yeah, this circuit kind of has a little bit of last year, but a whole lot of new stuff, especially with being in the new section of the parking lot that we're in now. And looking at it, it definitely has its tight spots. It has a lot of slower corners than what we're used to seeing. I think last year was a really fast track, but now, I mean, we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4 180s, not to mention the little S's that they have towards the further end of the racetrack, where it's really we're really going to see guys slowing down, and it's not necessarily a fast S's, it's a left and then a hard right and then a hard left again. So I almost want to think it's going to be a little bit of a slower track than it was last year, which for the shifters, okay, you just drop another gear and boom, you're gone. But for the tag guys, it's going to be all about rhythm, not so much what's the word I'm looking for?
Point and shoot.
Yeah. A flowing, not a real flow, not a lot of flow, but more of a point and shoot. Boom, 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 hit your marks type deal.
Yeah.
But then
I like a rhythm track like that, because when you have that S, if you miss that first S, you blow the second one, you blow the third one. Someone's coming to get you at the end of that section, that complex of corners. I think that's great.
Yeah, and the great part about what they kept was the turn one, the long straightaway, the wide sweeper. That we stood right next to. I think that's going to be great, because a lot of the, obviously the first year we were at the Las Vegas Convention Center was the starts. It was because it was into a 180, and it was just a jam pile, cart on top of cart on top of cart, just mess. And I think last year we saw this.
Yeah, we were. I was going to say we were also at the very zenith, the very pinnacle of the horrible racecraft we've seen the last couple of years. Guys were just driving in there, not lifting, and just driving into the guy in front of them and hoping they would come out the other side.
Exactly.
It was perfect.
Exactly.
It was a perfect storm.
So I think now we have a better idea of what we're going to see at the starts, and the guys know now what to expect when they're starting, because it's the second year that we're going to be doing it. But again, the 180s, that's going to be a bit argy-bargy type racing. We're going to see some guys climbing over the curbs. I think that was one of the craziest things. Like, I think Formal was one of the guys that we were watching just plowing over the curbs in the 180s just to pass a guy. I mean, that was some fun to watch.
Yeah. I like the fact that they got the hairpins lined up, because you can't. We had the second hairpin last year, but you didn't have to come all the way around. You kind of rolled through the hairpin and scooted into the little S section, and that allowed people to kind of block to the inside and scoot out. Well, you block to the inside now, and you're going to get in and out. You're going to get past, and I like that. I like the fact that there's some risk reward in those hairpins. Dave, let's move now quickly into S1. 23 drivers on our pre-entry list for the S1 category. And as we expected in a pro class, wow, we're talking multi-time SuperNationals race winners. We're talking Pro Tour champions, Pro Tour plate holders, race winners. Gary Carlton, last year's back-to-back KZ, of course, race winner Paulo DeCanto. Danny Formal, you've got national number one and the number one ranked driver in the country, Jake French. Lancaster and Spring Nationals winner Nick LeDuc. You've got Billy Musgrave. You throw in Hunter Pickett, who was a winner this year in S1. You got Ronnie White, the veteran. You got the top driver in the Pacific Northwest, Kyle Wick. And then you bring this guy, Joey Wimsett, back to the hunt, the guy that was able to score the big money, won the championship and the SuperNats a number of years ago at the Rio. Now, I just grabbed some guys coming down the list. This field is jammed.
I think you start with the number one guy right now in the sport, Jake French. I mean, it's been a phenomenal year for him. 6 straight podiums. I think it's 7, 8 dating back to the Summer Nationals of last year, where he stood on the podium on Sunday, stood on the podium at the SuperNationals, and has been on the podium ever since, all through 2017. So, he now has the Pro Tour victory or Pro Tour championship. I think the SuperNationals is next on his bucket list, and I think right now is the perfect year for him to try and do that, because the two-time defending winner, Danny Formal, he's not exactly the guy that we saw the last 2 years.
He's transitioned, obviously doing a lot of car racing as well in Costa Rica. They had some mechanical issues with Danny throughout the year. David, would you agree this feels almost like the U.S. shifter kart number 1 guy against the world shifter kart number 1 guy? Does it feel like Jake French versus Paulo DeCanto with Gary Carlton thrown in for fun?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, we saw this in 2014 when we had Rick Drizang, Rick Drizang.
That's a good WK reference for you.
It is. You
Well
know
done.
who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about.
Well done.
It's
Well
the
done.
end of the
Well
day.
done.
I can't
Just
talk.
keep rolling.
Oh, shit. Who was the other guy?
Just keep
2014.
Just keep rolling.
I know.
Keep
No,
rolling.
I'm trying
Don't
to
worry
think.
about it.
Who was the other guy? Come
I
back.
don't even
to
know
me
who you're
with that.
talking about right now. It's the end of the day too. I'm getting exhausted. Don't even just roll through. Go to the next one.
All right. Anyway, so we already saw some of the top world shift kart drivers come over and race in the S1 category. We've seen it at the SuperNats as well too. But I think with DeCanto coming in now with 2 world championships under his belt, I think he definitely has the opportunity to steal the S1 victory from the United States racers for sure.
Yeah, and again, both these drivers are that good, and DeCanto is the world champion. So I love the challenge for Jake French to step up and rock and roll on it. I like having him push like he is, because Formal's going to be in the fight. The fight, he is. Gary Carlton's going to be in the fight, which is exciting. I think Matt Hamilton's going to be in the fight as well. Obviously, Matt's super strong for Aluminos. I think he's going to be right in the middle of it. You got Jeremy Iglesias coming back. We haven't seen him. It's good to have him back in the fight. S2 champion and S2 SuperNats winner from a couple of years ago, Austin Wilkins, is here. This is going to be a good battle. This one's going to be just really fun to watch. You're going to have that, I think, real honest, pure battle back and forth. It's one of the things I like about S1 racing is the fact that, David, we've talked about this many times, where there's that level of respect between those drivers. They'll get into each other. They'll get alongside each other. There may be a bit of contact, but it's controlled contact, respectful contact to make the pass, and the guy will go right back at it and try to get him again. It's not like they're hammering and beating each other up, although we do know there was a bit of a riff, I believe, between Jake French and Gary Carlton at the Winter Nationals. We'll see if that happens again. I like rivalries. That's definitely a pretty solid rivalry when it comes to American shifter kart racing.
Well, I think the one you're thinking of is Carlton and Musgrave.
Oh, that's right, Musgrave. Pardon me.
Yeah, those two have kind of gone back and forth all season long.
Do we see it happen again here?
Well, and I was just going to talk about Musgrave because last year that was his first weekend on the Aluminos, and he was fast out of the box. But that's something that we saw in the S1 where the faster guys kind of slowed down as the weekend went on, and then some guys moved up as the weekend moved on. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to see this year, but yeah, Musgrave and Carlton, I think that rivalry is going to continue. But then you throw French in there with DeCanto. I mean, it's going to be heated.
And I'll correct myself. The battle between French and Carlton was at the Summer Nationals at Newcastle. They went at it pretty good at the SuperNats, battling each other into the first the last corner, first corner, crossed the line, going deep on each other, coming into the braking zone at what was turn number 1. I like rivalries, and I like it even more in the pro categories. I think it's where we need the battles to be, and it's going to be fun to see the guys at the front of that grid. Like we said, DeCanto's going at it. French, your national number 1 in EKN rankings. Matt Hamilton coming off another solid run this year at Streets of Lancaster. I love it. It's going to be some great racing for sure. Dave, let's take one more break, because when we get back, let's talk about our final category, the one that we always like to watch. It's a good time to see it here in the U.S. KZ. You'll get our little preview of the KZ category after this. Hey, just so you know, it's not too late to start thinking about Christmas presents. In fact, it's probably the perfect time to buy EKN gear and sock it away for December. We'll have Heidi Welk and our EKN trackside store at a few races this year, but you can always go online to order something for your favorite karter. You've seen our EKN clothing in the paddock, so get some for yourself. And it's all perfect for back to school as well. We have an awesome lineup. hats, t-shirts, and sweatshirts. Cool clothing for babies and toddlers to get them started on the right path early. We even have can koozies for bench racing in the paddock or the garage. And you can get everything you're looking for at ekartingnews.com/store. Welcome back, race fans. The SuperNationals edition, special edition here of the EKN Debrief. Rob Howden and David Cole. We are busy working. David's been hammering out the previews for the event. I'm excited that we're working with some really great companies again this year for the EKN live broadcast. Thrilled to have Acceleration Karting back on board. We've got Dams and Alpha Kart USA and Illuminos as our daily sponsors. We'll give you more information on the associates that are signing back up. We're right close to signing on our title sponsor as well. Always fun to do the live broadcast. We get a lot of people listening in. It's going to be a fantastic year. David, KZ, 36 drivers pushing their way to 40, but the KZ class is about as strong as we'd be hoping for. There's a lot of great drivers that we're looking to see battle it out. We're going to get to see DeCanto going back at it again. We get to see Anthony Abbas again. We get to see Bas Lammers. We got some guys that have won at the SuperNationals before, and we got guys that just love coming to this event. And that's one of the things I love about when they're there, especially a guy like Bas Lammers. You know, everybody loves him in the paddock. He just absolutely shows the passion for the sport and a passion for the event itself. You know, the SuperNationals, Las Vegas, it's not something that the European guys get to experience on a regular basis.
It's kind of like going to Monaco for the F1 drivers. So it's a fun little playground they get to go racing. So, yeah, the KZ category is without a doubt the most fun class to watch. Just the sound, the speed, the professionalism of the drivers that we see up front, and just the racecraft that they produce. It's amazing.
There's some other drivers who have been to this event many times, and I think that they're obviously going to show there. You know, Gary Carlton, his big win in the KZ category a couple of years ago was huge. Danny Bray has had so much success in Superkarts USA competition. He's had success at the Supernats. I think he's going to be good. Danny Formal. I'm excited to see if Danny's kind of able to, if he gets in there and really kind of grabs it and runs with it, it'll be cool to see. Another one I think is going to be cool is Hunter Pickett making a jump up to the KZ class here this year. He's running both S1 and KZ. I think it's a jump into the deep end, but I like it for Hunter. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have. Let me look at the total. I think it was 8 drivers that are doing both S1 and KZ. So we got Carlton, DeCanto, Formal, Fife, Iglesias, Keck, and Pickett. So we got those guys doing both KZ at night and S1 in the morning. So I think we'll see those guys kind of step up early in the KZ sessions. But come Thursday, you'll see your Abbas, your Lammers, the guys who are just running KZ kind of step in a little bit more and produce the speed in order to be able to compete. But yeah, I think Bray is another one. I mean, he's been racing here for nearly a decade now. I think he really loves coming to the United States and racing. SuperNationals, he's got some Pro Tour championships, but I think a SuperNationals win would be amazing for him. He'd love to come in and do that.
Yeah, get that one on the resume. I think he would absolutely go crazy for that for sure. Here's one I like, and it's kind of a full circle deal, which I really dig. Dave, I know you posted something up on eKarting News on our Facebook page, and we talk about looking back, and I think it was a 2002 or 2003 SuperNationals when James Hinchcliffe and Robert Wickens both ran for First Kart North America. And, Robert went on to a fantastic career in the DTM series after going through Atlantic, working his way into GP2, had a test program with Formula One at one point, ended up going to DTM. He's a young kid I've watched race since he was probably 12 or 13 years old. I love seeing him come back. He just signs to run with Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports in the Verizon IndyCar Series. Him and Hinchcliffe hook up. What's he decide to do? That's how we'll celebrate. I'm going to go run with my brother Trevor Wickens' team, Prime Power Team. We're going to go run KZ at the SuperNationals. I've talked a bit with Robbie, and he was asking me who was racing, and he's excited to get out there. He has done some karting in the Winter Tour over the last couple of years, but how do you like a guy like that step it up and say, you know what, I'm back in North America. I'm going to the Supernats again. I think it's ballsy, and I like it.
No, it's good. I mean, we saw Rossi do it last year, and I think, to be honest, Wickens has a better shot at it with his karting experience that he's done over the last few years. I mean, we've seen him battle in DD2 down at the Winter Tour. So this is
Yeah.
He's not going to be some pushover. I mean, he's going to be one of those guys who, to be honest, could be in the top 10 come at the end of qualifying. I really think so.
I like it. Well, folks, that's going to wrap things up here. David and I just wanted to take some time to kind of go over this and get it up on the EKN radio network, part of our podcast program. We keep telling you how big our podcast program is going to be next year. We've got a lot of great stuff in the books. It's going to be one of the things that we really focus on in 2018. We'll be rolling out the EKN radio network fully in December. A lot of good stuff happening for next year. But David, it's been an awesome year. We've done, 23 or 24 events, you and I combined, being trackside. More for next year. We're adding the Texas Pro Kart Challenge. We've got the Can-Am Karting Challenge again. We've got the SKUSA Winter Series. Throw that in there as well. One great thing about the SuperNats, Dave, is we get to wrap things up. We get to go to the biggest race, spend a week in Las Vegas, eat some pretty badass food. You get your In-N-Out fix, which is awesome. I'm sure Mike Jones will get his fix as well. To be honest, dude, this is just a great way to cap off the season. We love coming to the SuperNats. We're almost at the hour mark here. What are your thoughts, bud?
Yeah, going to the SuperNats, it's always a great adventure. Just getting there, taking in the atmosphere, going around Tuesday, Wednesday, shaking everybody's hand, saying hi, just getting a feel for what you think is going to happen during the week. I mean, you really don't know until Wednesday morning when the first carts hit the track and you get the goosebumps going, and there's no other feeling in karting. There really isn't.
Yeah, agreed. It's like you said on Thursday morning when they first kick things up and you get that cloud of smoke off the grid and guys get out there for the first time to get a sample, and that's the guys in the morning sessions. Those young guys, they're going to give the feedback on the track and how they like it. In the afternoon, we're going to get that feedback from more of the senior drivers as they get to get on track for the first time. And with this new pavement, I dig it. We're right on the strip. You're right. It's just such an amazing time. For me, it's Super Sunday when I get a chance to get out there and MC the opening ceremonies. We get to now honor the SKUSA Hall of Fame inductees. It's just, Super Sunday's the Christmas for us, I think. When I get a chance to scream those words out, I just love it. And we set ourselves up for some amazing events, just an absolutely great day of racing. I look at what I do throughout the year, David. You have some major events that we go to. For me, I look at 2 big days. I look at being on pit lane for the Indianapolis 500 with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway radio network. And then I get a chance to work with you at the SuperNationals. We've done it. I've done it 20 times. This is my 21st. You got to be up there, Dave, somewhere around 15, right? Are you 14 or 15 now for you?
I can't do math anymore, but
dude, I'm sure you have a degree in math.
Exactly. I can't do it anymore. It's done.
All right. Well, I can respect that.
2004
was your first one, right?
First. Jason Bowles standing on the UNLV 50-yard line with the trophy in hand in the air. That was my first memory of SuperNats. So I missed 2007 for the birth of my first child, but other than that, I've been at every one since. So I'm getting up there. I'm not getting any younger, that's for sure. But,
well, it's always a pleasure to work.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Dave, it's always a pleasure to work with you there. It's Super Sunday. It's the biggest race, biggest day, at least for us, I think, when it comes to competition. We look forward to all the events, capping things off, and then wrapping up the day with a Colburn at the Westgate, just saying, man, that was a lot of fun to watch, because there's going to be some guys that are going to be unbelievably happy at the end of Super Sunday having put in a race win on their resume. Dave, thanks for joining me here, buddy. I appreciate it. Previews continue to stream out. This is a lot of work for David Cole, ladies and gentlemen. We're very happy that Thanksgiving comes up right afterwards, and he can get about 4 or 5 days off to relax with the family, because really there isn't a tougher like 2 or 3 week period for us than prepping for the SuperNats. We hope you enjoy everything we bring you. We're excited about our EKN Trackside live coverage. We're excited about the live broadcast we're going to be bringing as well for everyone. This is going to be a fun year. We're past the 20-year mark. We're into the 3rd decade for this great race, and we hope that you all join us on EKN and the EKN live program. On behalf of David Cole, this has been Rob Howden. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Debrief podcast, a special edition for the SuperNationals 21. It's time to go racing. We'll see you all in Las Vegas.